We're all holding our breath to hear the status of those 5 soldiers who were shot and injured there on their Army base in Georgia. Let's put that aside for a moment as we all hold a prayer for those soldiers, and let's talk about the suspect. Let's talk with somebody who knows how these investigations go down, former FBI official Tim Gallagher. Tim, first of all, just want to get your reaction to what you see outside that hospital. I've been at scenes like this. Does it strike you that that hospital seems quiet at this point?
Yes, thanks for having me on here, Reed. Yes, you want, that first hour is absolutely critical to get the wounded treated, get them, first level care. The good news story here is you heard Anna say before, when we're training people to how to react to an active shooter, we're like talking about that first aid, that stop the bleed, and that, on a military base, people in that room would have been trained in that. So the initial triage that was handled on site, the initial aid that was given, none better, right? So that's the good news story. You would have liked to have seen them getting to the hospital quicker, but as I said, they're receiving treatment along the way.
And that is good to know that training can come into play. But there's also the other story, and that is the investigation into who pulled the trigger and why they would do something like this. In recent mass shootings, even in the Midtown Manhattan mass shooting, very quickly we started to get a profile of that shooter and the allegations that he had mental illness. Because the big question is, when things like this happen, is why didn't somebody see warning signs before? What will happen at the FBI level, at the investigative level, to try to figure out if this person had any warning signs that perhaps were missed?
Right. So as you're mentioning, there's a command post that stood up right now, the FBI side by side with Army Criminal Investigative Command and the state police. One of the things the FBI is doing is going back into its holdings. What did the FBI know? What have people reported on in the past that has to do with this individual? What are some things that, may not be identified with his name, but that could be him, right? So they're going to go back and see what was out there and then develop those leads and interview people to figure out what exactly it was that, that may have pushed him over the edge. What was what took him from ideation to action, and trying to, get evidence as to who knew what and when, and how can we have how they could put a criminal case together.
So from the vantage point of the FBI also, you saw some of those live images coming from our affiliate WTOC, and you saw the law enforcement officer with a long gun. We would think that this is a sniper, somebody who's trained as a sniper, still looking through the sights there. We're also hearing about securing that perimeter. We know that the threat has been eliminated. Some people are able in that community to go about their daily activities, but yet you see that long gun and that soldier there with his eyes literally through the sights. Do you think the perimeter is secure when you see a scene like that, or is that just keeping the perimeter secure?
Yeah, they're going to be on high alert. The Army, on the outer perimeter, for quite some time. While they work the scene here. You're always afraid, or you're always cognizant of the fact that there could be, a secondary shooter. That doesn't appear to be the case right here. But there's going to be a surge of law enforcement resources, whether that be crime scene processing, victim witness interviewing, and you want to keep that perimeter as secure as possible, because you don't want this to present a target of opportunity for someone else out there who may have an axe to grind, with the U.S. Army.
Tim Gallagher, thank you so much. I anticipate we'll be talking to you a lot more throughout the day as we learn about the victims and the alleged shooter.